Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and yeah, welcome back to another movie review, but it's another revisit movie review because I said when I was revisiting my review of Alpha and Omega, and I mentioned this film, which I'm gonna hold up right now, that how much I love this movie, and I said that because long ago when I first reviewed this film, and then a couple months later, I rushed to revisit movie review though because it was a couple months after I originally reviewed it, and I look back on it now, I felt like I rushed it. So yeah, I didn't delete that. I didn't delete it, so it's still on there, both of them. But I just wanted to give it. I just didn't wait long enough to revisit it because. But I just feel like since I rushed it, I wanted to make it much more better. So without further ado, I'm just gonna do a one last revisit on this film because, especially why not? Because I now also think about it because I don't think it's not as bad as some people think it is, and how much I love this movie. And people say it's a story because we turn up by the story because it's about owls. It's based on the book series Guardians of Ga'Hoole, like which really enough I have right here. Got the whole book series right here. Guardians is originally called Guardians of Ga'Hoole by Catherine Lasky, which she did phenomenal on this whole book series. And ever since I started reading the book series ever since I got saw the first teaser to this film earlier back in 2010, and I was interested, and I got the whole book series, read all of it. Really well done book series. I enjoy it. Like I said, some people may not be interested because the story is about owls. So some people might not think it's not all that great. But I give credit where credit's due. I give props to the author making this wonderful series. Highly enjoy it. And then when the film came out, I loved it. And it deserves to be talked about more because it's a very beautifully well-made animated film. It's one of the most beautiful looking anime films that I've seen, in my opinion. And really enough, it's directed by Zack Snyder. And yeah, I don't know to repeat myself from all the previous times, but in case anyone who's not updated on my videos, who does not look back on some, that's why reason why I'm doing it because yeah, Zack Snyder. First film he made, Dawn of the Dead, I loved it. It's one of the best horror film remakes. I enjoyed Dawn of the Dead. 300 I thought was alright. But then he also directed Watchmen the year before this. I like Watchmen. It's not one I just would watch over and over again. It's definitely better than some of the DC films, I would say, of recent. And then after this he would go on and direct Legend of the Guardians. And then after the year after this film, well, yeah, early 2011, he directed Sucker Punch, which sucked. And then you go on to direct Man of Steel, I did not like. And then this year, Batman v Superman, which I hate even more. And to be honest, in my opinion, this is a lot better. This is definitely better than Sucker Punch. Honestly, better than 300, I would say, because I thought it was alright though, but I think this is better still, and a lot better than Man of Steel, and it's definitely a lot better than Batman v Superman, in my opinion. Because really wonderful ways with the really wonderful animations. You got the characters from the books. You got Soren, Clud, Mrs. P, Eglantine. And then you got the Guardians as well, and just really what got me where can't was gonna start my words again. What I mostly enjoyed about was the animation, because it's very mature light, and mostly also the story also has a dark tone to it as well, just like in the books. This to make the animation look like the film has a dark tone to the story, because the story you get the two owl brothers. You got Soren and Clud, and you get their little sister Eglantine, and when their parents fly off, which they really don't know if their father Noctis is voiced by Hugo Weaving, just for that little role for that's playing as a father. As they go off, they want to practice. Soren wants to practice more branching, and then one thing they know, they fall out of their home, out of the tree, and they get attacked by a Tasmanian devil. And then these two bigger owls, because they're the type of owls they're barn owls. They get taken by these two owls, Jut and Jet. And then they get taken along with all these other group of owls have been taken. One of them is played by one of them was Gylfi, who is a little owl, and they get taken to what was that? St. Aggies or St. Agiles, I think it was called. I think they altered the title because I think it was St. Aggies was in the books, and they call it St. Agiles in this, which is the home of the Pure Ones. And the leader, as was told, because Soren's father told about the stories about the Guardians and the fight with also the leader Metalbeak, the villain's leader Metalbeak, and when also they get introduced to the White Owl, who is the mate of Metalbeak, named Nyra, voiced by Helen Mirren. And they're looking for strong owls, mostly the barn owls, basically. Soren, wants to protect her friend Gylfi, so they get put on with this other a group of owls, while Clud, with all the other owls, are going to be in training. And there's a thing in the books called moon blinking, like owls, they sleep. They're not supposed to sleep when the moon is full. They're supposed to sleep during the day, and when they don't sleep when the moon is out, they come moon blink, like their eyes wide, white, basically almost like acting like a zombie. And then one of the owls who decides to help them out, named Grimble, also voiced by Hugo Weaving, wants to help them to teach them how to fly and help get out and go to the Guardians like Ga'Hoole. And you see a little bit of training with Nyra training with Clud and some other owls. Clud is proven to be the strongest out of most of them, all of them, I would say. And Grimble gives him a little story that he was forced to work otherwise because his family was taken, and as he would work for them, no harm will come to them. But he has to stay. So then he goes and fights Nyra, and he's Soren's telling Clud to come with them, but he doesn't. So it kind of then betrays them. He says, "I am home." And as they fly off, Grimble gets killed by Nyra, and as they get away, then they meet our two other main owls characters from the book, Twilight and Digger, and which also the Twilight comes and brings them dinner, which is Mrs. P, their nursemaid, the little snake, who's blind, and they said they want to go and reach the Guardians of Ga'Hoole, and they all agree to go with them, and they need to go to this one spot called the echidna. The echidna. It's sort of like a porcupine type of animal, and they point to the direction where the Guardian's at, and they go in this blustery, icy wind. And when Digger his wings freeze up, he supposedly falls. Then Soren goes down, but can't find him. But then when the Guardians come up, it's a white snowy owl who's like the king and queen of the Guardians. So then they lead back to the great tree where all the Guardians live, among other owls. and just the animation is just so wonderful to look at. How the way the for like the how the with the character how the animation to the owls, the characters, um, like how with the sea and all the like the lighting, like how like the sunlight look, and then the dark tone of like when they were in the St. Aggies, how a mixture of dark and a little bit of I don't know what else like I don't say what kind of colors are there, but still it's still good to look at. It's like how it's like had like this dark story in this animated movie, and it's just because like I said in the books it was like that. It was like a bunch of fights and stuff because they said there was like blood in some instances. So well, you don't see that here though, but and then you get and then Soren tells them about with the pure ones and what they're trying to plan, and one of the guardians, Alamir, voiced by Sam Neill, was another nice addition to the cast. Um, he goes to see where the pure ones are up to. It takes two of them with him, and while that's going on, I forgot what was that one. What was that one owl name? Otalissa, who is another a female guardian, which Soren kind of likes. He gives her the face like. Mm-hmm. And the NEC go through these montages of their training, which I highly enjoy the song, Take to the Sky by Owl City. Bird's eye view, awake the stars, cause they're all around you. One eye open to chase your dreams. Yeah, that song. Take to the sky. Really enjoy that song. And just how the song is playing as they're training, and a really wonderful scene where it's nighttime. These flying glowing flowers float off, and just how the animation makes it look wonderful to look at. That's what I say. I would say it's one of the most beautiful animated films I've seen, and I don't get why this film gets a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I don't see how. But it does have a 7.0 on IMDb, which is good though. But 50% on Rotten Tomatoes is way too low in this movie. I give it much more higher ratings. But this is me though. And there's one point where you get like an oh shit moment where Cludd takes his little sister to the pure ones, and even Moon blinks her. I was like, oh wow, he even does it. He does that to her own little sister. That was kind of dark. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at for this throwing all these little dark elements into it. Yeah, he goes. See, it was her own little sister, and he moon blinks her. Just keep looking into the moon. Just sleep. So, and then it shows with this another owl, who was voiced by Jeffrey Rush. And another nice addition to the cast, Easelrib, or who's real enough is the legendary owl that Soren adores, his hero, Elias of Keel. He's a small owl, and one point where Easelrib takes him makes him fly through the storm, and makes Soren go to this water twister and says, "No, trust in your gizzard." And you get this nice little slow mo because Zack Snyder is known for doing all the slow mo in his movies, and it's this really wonderful scene where he's slowly, going through this water twister and all the drops of water and the lightning in the back. And I have this little song that I thought was fit the film. I forget what that song is called though, as it's going. And just really wonderful scenes. He's slowly flying through this, and all the drops of water. Really well shot. But he messes up though. But Easelrib, takes him back to his hollow in the tree, and he stamps on his page in his journal, and Soren notices that's Elias Keel's mark, his signature, and from the stories he was told it was like a wonderful battle and this and that, but Isilrib, sets the whole thing straight. Says it wasn't glorious. It wasn't like it's like mainly doing what's right, and this is what you do to heroes. You get hurt and scarred. It's not like what like any of those stories you've been told. And then it shows that with Alamir, because you later find out that Alamir is a traitor. Because it shows with his two guards that's with him, like they set up a diversion and gets those two elves killed from this trap the Pure Ones are planning. Because earlier you see him make a deal with Metalbeak, because he wants to be king of the tree. So yeah. But he comes back, pretending he's like hurt and stuff, to tell his story. So then he convinces like the king and queen and all the guardians to go with them. And Isilrib tells Soren to stay. You tend to your sister. As is just, what do I know? I'm just an old screech. And so then when they get to the Pure Ones is a trap. Alamir betrays them and sets up this trap where all this bunch of shiny metal, mysterious metal, which it works because they're like supposed to suck out their gizzards, and they have bats too because it doesn't affect on the bats because they have no gizzards. That's how they're able to lift up the things to set the trap up because they have no gizzards. And they send out the rest of the bats to kill them as well. But then Eglantine, who was Moonblade, she comes back to herself and tells Soren that Alamir is a traitor, and he knows the trap, so he flies out there with the one little battle claw that Isilrib gave him. And as they see it's a trap. Soren gets an idea to get this lamp that has filled with oil, and he flies to this forest on fire. And as well, the rest of them plan to fend up the paths, and Digger has this thing, he doesn't like how Twilight's singing with his instrument, I forget what that thing is called. He says, I want you to sing one. And then Twilight's like, into battle, what was a part, and then it says, unless we're going to die. And Digger's like, what? So, and then they say they're trying to fight out the bats, and they see that Alamir has not lived up to his fully up to his deal because he said all the guardians, but he says they're not though. But then Metalbeak turns the tables on him. He's like, still, I don't think we can trust you, Alamir. He's like, no. You promised I'll be king of the tree, and then gets all the back sick on him and kills him. It's like, you should know, Alamir, there's only room for one king. And don't forget that Metalbeak is voiced by Joel Edgerton. So, very decent, very good amount of voice casting. Jim Sturgis as Soren, who did good. Emily Berkeley as Gylfi. Ray Quantin as Cled. Ray Quantin, he was in James Wan's horror film Dead Silence. David Wenham as Digger, Anthony LaPadula as Twilight, if I mispronounced his last name. And I said Helen Mirren as Naira, Jeffrey Rush as Isilrib, Joel Edgerton as Metalbeak, Hugo Weaving as Wolf Grimble and Noctis, Soren's father, and Sam Neill as Alamir. So very, very decent voice cast in the film. So, and then you have another nice, well-animated scene where Soren's flying the fire, and because he wants to set the oil on fire, and you see where he's flying, and all the fire is going around him. And you have that song, I forget what that song is called. That song was playing at the ending of Stephen King's The Mist. At the ending of the film, you have that. I did a terrible job on that, but it's that song that played at the end of that movie. That's playing in this really enough, where he's flying through the fire. And he sets it on fire, and he nosedives down to where the trap is, and he throws it, destroys it, and shuts all the clamps down. So then you have all the guardians. They fight the Pure Ones, and very. Now this is slow mo stuff that I would like. Is like some people don't like most of the Zack Snyder slow mo in most of his movies, but this one I do like. Is it shows how the owls when they clash. I understood what was going on. It wasn't. Well, it's not like with a live action film where it's like quick cuts. I don't understand what's going on. This one, the slow mo, I say it was good because I understood what was going on and how they're fighting. So that I do. That the slow mo was used well in this. So and so you know how the Guardians and most also all the owls do, but how the weapons have like knives and blades for the claws and stuff. You know, just because you see that because you see earlier how they make their helmets and their weapons, their claw weapons, and some of them have knives as well. And one fun where you know, Twilight, he's using his instrument as a weapon as well. It's like in slow mo, like, come on, wax one. And Soren sees his brother, and his brother he's fighting each other, but Soren tries to tell him, but of course Chloe will listen. He's saying that that he's with the pure ones and stuff like that. So, and went to one point where, and during that's going on, Izorb is fighting Middlebeak, and he's getting his butt kicked with also with Naira as well, both beating the crap out of him, and. At one point where with Soren fighting his brother, you get to the point where they're on this flaming tree, and he's holding on to his brother for dear life. And Club makes one last effort to attack him, but the branch snaps and he falls into the flames, which presumably he thought he was dead. And I thought this little part I like that you see that Soren, he sees Metalbeak, and you see him all the anger in his eyes. And he takes this branch that was on fire, it's still hot. You see the anger in the anger face he gives, and just he really wants to kill Mill because everything he's done with his brother and all the other owls he's done. So he goes and attacks both of them with that flaming branch. And then when he gets pinned down, he's like, "I'm not letting you hurt one more soul. Oh, you're not letting me." Such a strong Taito. That's because that's the type of fighter owls that he wants. Such a waste of a strong and spirited Taito. So, and then the branch drops, and they both dive down to get it. And just when he reaches for it, which you think that he got Soren, but in real life he killed Metalbeak with the branch. So Naira and the rest of the pure ones, they retreat, they fly away, and Soren has a look. He has that look. He doesn't say, but you can tell, like, in his mind, he's like, "I killed Metalbeak." And Jeffrey Rush, Izorb was like, "Soren, you did what was right." And the rest of them, they all return to the Great Tree, and Soren's parents are there. It says, saying that her father, Hugo Weaving, said, "You made them real, Soren." Because the whole story says was real. And then as with all the Guardians bowing down for a celebration, because now Soren, Twilight, Digger, and Gylfi, they are now made as Guardians. And you see they get their own little helmets and stuff. And Soren's telling how the rest of the story goes. Make strong the weak, and the way I think it was strong the weak, and the weak vanquishes evil. I think of how it went again. And then shows Clud, who is still alive, and now he has glowing red eyes, looking at Metalbeak's helmet. Because in the book, Clud was Metalbeak, so there was. So I guess that in the part he will be the new Metalbeak, but in the books he was already Metalbeak. So I would like to see that in the sequel, but I'll get to that in a second. And so it ends with because he's telling all the children, and then Izorb wants to take the rest of the gang out, flying out to another storm. And then it ends, and then as the credits going, he has this nice little end credits when it's going, because you have the Take to the Sky playing again. But how the credits are going is how what's this thing is called? It's like a shadow show. It shows like these figurines. You know, like you put things behind a curtain and make indicate the shadow of stuff. That type of. I don't know how. I forget how that thing is called though. But if you get what I'm saying, you know, put it behind a curtain and makes the cast a shadow and makes it give like a show performance. I forget what that's called, but if someone knows what it is, you understand. But yeah, and as that song was going, "Take to the Sky." But that's why I would like to. But since then, there has been no talks about a sequel after all this time. And I'm now just convinced of saying there's never gonna be a sequel to this, and that's such a great shame because if you make a sequel, because they have all these books here, which I think the first film was like based on the first three, I believe. I think it's on the first three books right here. I could be wrong though, but I believe that's what the film was based on, the first three books. It's a shame. And because I remember I did have the poster back over there long ago, so I do have the poster still. I just love this movie. To me, it's one of the best animated films I've seen. Because the animation is so beautiful to look at. That's the basic word I would describe this film to look at is beautiful. Zack Snyder, to me, is his best movie. Live action film wise, I would say it's Dawn of the Dead. That's what I was. Yeah, this is the only anime film he directed though, but to me, it's his best film. But as for live action film goes, his best film was Dawn of the Dead. But he really did phenomenal with making an animated film like this. But it's just sad that we're never gonna get another sequel, and that's what pisses me off. I mean, like I point out, Alpha and Omega, it didn't make enough money like what this film did. You know, like that film made 50 million worldwide. Well, this film made 140 million worldwide on its budget of 80 million. But sadly, it didn't do well domestically. Made like about 53 million domestically on its budget of 80 million. It's sad though. So what? So maybe because it didn't do well domestically, that we're not gonna get a sequel, even despite making a lot more money overseas. But like I was saying, Alpha and Omega, despite making it was a modest success for what it did, it spawned lots of sequels. What I just showed you in my revisit movie review of that. It got a lot of sequels, but this doesn't. I don't get it, and it's a great shame because I would love to see what more they could do. With Cludd, he can be the new Metal Beak, or it could be sometime after where Cludd is more not Cludd. Soren is more an adult. You know how he is as now he's a real guardian. Sadly, we're never gonna get more of those. We're never gonna get more answers. This is what I would say. I would want to see answers to though. Some people say that asking questions for I don't know. So I'm saying it's just some people think it's a bad thing to ask questions though. But I want to know what would happen later, like if it's like a year or two, because I don't know. When it comes to this film, it just bugs me that we're just never gonna get a sequel. Hey, if there's people who want to see a sequel to this, then I'm not alone in this. I'm sure there's lots of people that would like to see a sequel to this, but sadly we're never gonna have it. I mean, Alpha and Omega get a lot of sequels. Well, that's a bad thing for me because I like the sequels. But I've said that's at the same scenario. Some people will say, "Oh, that franchise never need to be a franchise in the first place." But that's part of understandable. But this film, I just don't get it because I enjoy the book. I enjoy the book series. It's a great book series to me. But and as a Catherine Lasky, I think made a great series. People may think it's not, or maybe not fans of this or the film because it's about owls. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know, but Zack Snyder, I think he did a good job directing making his first animated film. It's a lot better than Batman v Superman or Man of Steel, in my opinion. Remember, it's all my opinion, but I'm sure some people say, "Oh, yeah. It's my opinion." To me, it's his best film, but live action wise, it's Dawn of the Dead. But wonderfully, beautifully well made animated movie. The animation is top notch and it's very beautiful to look at. Just like the look of this right here. That's what I'm trying to get. I like the look of that. How the animations of the owls look and the whole scenery. The fights in slow mo that I think is used well. I understood what was going on, and just what the weapons they have, just like a. And the story I thought was like in the books was dark, which had me give me a couple of my first soul, give me that kind of reaction. And I love this one. This is why I would say it was my favorite film of 2010. This and even I saw this film a couple of times when it came out while he was in the theater. I did. This to me was my well spent to me, but some people are like, "Oh, you waste your money." Well, it's my money then. I love this movie. What just so pisses me off is we're never gonna get to see a sequel to this. 6 years later, right now, after this film came out, nothing. Well, they said there's talks of a sequel. Like you said that the leads, the two guys, Jim Sturgis and Ryan Quanten, who voiced Soren and Claude, they said they would like to come back if the sequel is ever entered production, but since then, nothing. So we're never going to see a sequel to this, and it's a great shame because I love the movie and I love the book series. I would like to see how things went in the film, in the film, how it progressed. Like for if it's a year or two later, like I said, Soren maybe more of an adult. How he progresses at now he's a guardian. How Clud be when he when he's out with the new metal, because in the book, he and Naira were mates in the movie, and they had a son who. I forget what the son's name though, but eventually, because he was raised, to follow in his father's footsteps, but he knows what he's doing, what they did was wrong, so he turns to be in the Guardians. So I would like to see this in the film series. I would like to see this as a franchise to play out for this whole book series, but we're never gonna see that. I'm sure some people will agree with me. Which is good. I would say it's a good thing because not a bad thing because I'm sure, like I said before, some people would like to see a sequel to this, but sadly we're never gonna get it. Just gonna keep on repeating myself, but because I'm just want to point out because this is the last time I'm gonna be revisiting this film because the second time I messed up on the revisit because I rushed it because it was shortly after I first originally reviewed it long ago. I rushed it. Now I'm just giving it a proper revisit movie review. So. But I'd say it's a revisit it deserves because I would say I just don't get why it gets hated on. 50% Rotten Tomatoes. I highly disagree with it. I enjoy this book series and the film. I would give it much more higher ratings. But I guess some people, if you're not interested in owls, then it's not the movie for you. But some people don't like it. It's a story about owls. The book series is about owls, so I don't see what's so bad about it. But yeah, I enjoy the score, the songs in the movie. The animation is top notch. The cast, like they all did a wonderful job. Jim Sturgis, Helen Mirren, Jeffrey Rush, Sam Neill. It's nice to see his voice in an animated movie. The rest of the cast do a well done job. Dark tone, some dark things in the movie. Well made anime film. Beautiful to watch. So I hope you enjoyed this proper revisit movie review. So, Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Ga'Hoole. And plus, I don't get when it gets hated on. I would say it makes it like an underrated animated film in my opinion as well. Underrated. But it's in my opinion, Zack Snyder's best movie. But yeah. But I hope you enjoy this. Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Ga'Hoole. If you like the film, cool. I'm sure I'm not alone in it, but if anyone who agrees with me that there should be a sequel, but gonna be disappointed because there's never gonna be one because it's 6 years later, and there's no but talks about it ever since. Unless they plan like doing like what was like 10 years after, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Well, no need to wait and see because I'm very positive that it's not gonna be it. There's not gonna be no sequel. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this proper revisited movie review of Legend of the Guardians: The Isles of Ga'Hoole. Love the movie. Like I said, it's beautiful to watch. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. And yeah, I just wanted to redo this because then I'll get back to reviewing the next Mel Brooks. Well, not Mel Brooks. The next film for Gene Wilder, and that is going to be Young Frankenstein. The memory of Gene Wilder. So that's going to be the next thing. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.